Hi guys, my name's Sean and I'm the host of the NFT Talks podcast. Today we've got the co-founder and CEO of the NFT project OneOf. Now, OneOf is a green NFT project made for the musicians and the fans. Now, OneOf recently got seed funding of $63 million to build their NFT platform on the Tezos blockchain. Now, if you're interested in music, you're a fan of music, or you're an artist and you're into the NFT space, this episode is the one for you. Now, make sure you subscribe and leave your comments, and let's help build this NFT community. Welcome to NFT Talks. I am back with another episode and I'm here with an amazing guest. I'm so happy to have him on. He goes by the name of Lin Dai. He's the founder of OneOf. So OneOf is a green NFT platform for musicians and for the fans. And it's about to disrupt the music industry in a crazy way. And just to add to that, he's also teamed up with Quincy Jones. He's a music legend, worked with the likes of Michael Jackson, Frank Sinatra, Aretha Franklin, the list goes on. So without further ado, just please introduce yourself, Lin.
Yeah, so thank you for having me, and love what's going on in the space.
Thank you for joining me. I mean, before we get into it, because I know you're short for time, I just want to know a bit about yourself. I know you're no stranger to tech or the music industry. So if you could just give me a little short introduction about yourself, so everyone can understand where you're coming from before we get into OneOf.
Yeah, so I'm a tech nerd. I started my first company out of my dorm room at Carnegie Mellon University in the first.com. We built a social network for teens, 4 years before MySpace, 5 years before Facebook. So after that, I actually spent many years over at major media companies such as Alloy, that owned Gossip Girl, Vampire Diaries, and also at radio groups such as MS Communications that owned some legendary hip hop radio stations in the US, such as Hot 97 in New York. So really kind of done both the startup thing and the major media company thing, and really got into blockchain about 5 years ago. Through one of our VCs and my personal mentor, Bill Tai, who really turned me on to take a deeper look on how blockchain technology can help really change industries. And about 2.5 years ago, started to follow what the guys at Dapper Labs are doing with the blockchain cats, crypto kitties, right? So really saw kind of an opportunity how NFTs can really reshape, be a perfect kind of way to kind of for fans to directly interact with artists in ways never was able to do before.
Okay, so you've been in the NFT industry, but NFT space for quite a while. It's nothing new to you. You understand. You mentioned like obviously Dapper Labs, and these are guys of like kind of the start of regards to making NFTs and getting exposed and whatnot. But what I want to hear about is how did you get to the whole point of starting OneOf then, involving music and NFTs and also collaborating and meeting with Quincy Jones? How did that go about?
Yeah, so from kind of 2 years ago, we started exploring and think there's great opportunity here, right? The NFT is just a digital authentication for any item, and what traditionally was very hard to digitally authenticate, such as a piece of digital art or a piece of digital music. Now that's possible. So we kind of envision a lot of different use cases for music artists and the music industry. So we started building the technology and hit some roadblocks where Ethereum has some kind of scaling issues when it comes to high gas fees, right, which is a huge issue, and also the environmental impact of running a proof of work network. So really had some breakthrough a year ago when we started looking at some alternative blockchain platforms, and we ended up deciding to build our platform on top of Tezos. So Tezos is about 2 million times more energy efficient than Ethereum. It's proof of stake, and doesn't require computers to solve very intense computational puzzles in order to verify a transaction. So we really loved also the Tezos ability. It's the only self-amending blockchain, right? Which means it can upgrade the entire blockchain without a hard fork. So that's actually it's the only blockchain we know that can do that, which is really exciting. Which means Tezos can always stay kind of ahead of the game, with the latest innovation in the blockchain space in general. So with that, I called up one of my really good friends, Josh James, who became one of my co-founders and successful entrepreneur in his own right. Sold one of his company to Warner Music Group, and sold his most recent company to Media Rights Capital, which owned Billboard, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, etc. So I called Josh, and I was like, Josh is a lot. I was like, do you know what an NFT is, right? So he didn't know. I explained it, and he immediately got it. On that call, he was like, we should call Adam, right? So Adam is also Josh's good friend, who is Quincy Jones' partner, president of Quincy Jones Productions. So Josh calls Adam, and Adam's question is like, what is an NFT, right? But very quickly, once we explained what a technology can do and also how we are approaching it, we're building kind of not only an NFT platform, but for profit, but it's an NFT platform that first and foremost is environmentally friendly, that is artist friendly and fan friendly. So that's something that is really near and dear to everything Quincy has done throughout his life. So Adam was very excited, brought us to Quincy, and we decided to partner together on this project.
Okay, so it seems like obviously you've taken a stance where you've covered a lot of things. I think in regards to obviously the environmental friendly, I think that's a major issue and a major thing that's talked about within the NFT space. I know that even when I think it was Kings of Leon, when they dropped their album, they got a lot of pushback from their fans about the environment side of it. So the fact that you're even covering that and thinking ahead, I think that's great. I think that's going to solve a lot of problems. What I really want to ask yourself is, I want people, because a lot of the people that listen or follow myself are creators and or people new people into the space. How do you explain to somebody how this actually works? I mean, because the first question is, what is an NFT? Which once you find out that, but how does it? What benefits would an artist get? What benefits will a fan get from OneOf? So from two perspectives, if you're an artist, what benefits, what you've got to offer an artist, and how would it work?
Yeah, so the most basic function for NFT, right? It is it's a few pieces of digital code that sits on a blockchain that's immutable, meaning it cannot be changed, right? And it serves as a digital proof of authenticity for just about any digital item or could be physical item as well. So why is this important? So if you think about old school artists, right? So you can basically paint one painting and it can be authenticated. It's a physical painting. There's only one copy in the world. It's very hard to do for digital art or digital music, because you can, very easily the user can, right click and copy and make another copy of it. So the idea using a NFT token, you can authenticate. There could be 1,000 digital copies of the, a copy of the Mona Lisa, but then there's only one that is authenticated by this NFT, right? So the Mona Lisa example is like, I can go on the internet, I can download a copy of the painting, I can print it out on my printer and put a very nice frame around it and put it up in my living room. All my guests knows, right, that authentic copy is over at the Louvre. So this is kind of the digital version of that. So that opens up a whole new possibility. So music artists specifically no longer have to sell their work for 99 cents on Apple Music, right? So there are fans that really appreciate your work. This is like getting a limited edition autograph copy of your CD. You can still, certainly, this does not replace streaming, but you can now give your super fans something really special. And even if you're a emergent artist that really, maybe you have 100 fans that's willing to, pay $50 each for a copy of your new latest music, that sure, you can listen to it on streaming, but I can collect something, right? So this is a digital collectible. So that's something that offers the artist a way to directly now monetize your work at the value they deserve to be monetized directly with your fans that want to support you. That was not available on any previous digital music platforms. So this is a new technology that enables that, which is very exciting. Now, the challenge of that is, most of the NFT platform before that launched before OneOf are built on the Ethereum technology, which is great technology for many use cases. But specific for NFT, because Ethereum blockchain has such a high transactional fee, so creating an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain costs anywhere between $75 to $150. If you hear the term minting fees, right, that's the cost to create an NFT. What that means is an artist have to price their NFT for $300 or $500 in order to make a profit on selling this, right? Otherwise, if it costs you $150 to create something, you can't sell it for $50. So that creates a problem because your true fan are not usually the richest fans, right? Mm-hmm. So you really want to be able to price your work at an affordable level where many of your fans can engage. So that's not possible on today's, many of today's platforms. So we aim to solve that problem. So we basically have, use a combination of technology, and plus we further subsidize the transaction fees, where artists will pay $0 to make $0 to create an NFT, which means artists can price their NFTs for $1 so their true fans can get it, right? Or even free, give it away, right? Yeah. As an engagement tool. So we think that is very much just as important as the environmental angle. The low cost NFT is something we're very passionate about, because this is about helping artists connecting with their true fans, not their richest fans.
Yeah, and I think that is something that's really valuable, which I talked about with Jen before. This is about the community is going to be the main thing for NFTs, isn't it? And I mean, there's a lot of artists that maybe have their true fans, maybe 100 fans, and when they get famous, as you call it, and a mascot, them same fans will call them sellouts. But let's say that you brought an NFT when they came out. How much would that NFT be worth 5 years down the line for that artist, which it could, as a collectible, could be worth a lot of money, couldn't it, for a fan?
Yeah, so artist fans always keep you honest, right? So there are certainly major artists that announced NFT drops on other platforms before and got immediate pushback on one of those two things. One is how can you say you care about the earth while minting an NFT that takes the power, that energy that powers a US host for 2 days just to mint an NFT? How can you reconcile that, right? The fans will call you out on Twitter on that. And the second thing is, like, you only care about your richest fans. What about the rest of us? Yeah. So those are things no major or emerging artists want to appear to their fans to be, right? So I think we really solve that problem. Getting the first edition of your favorite artist, maybe it's you're the first 1,000 fan that knows about this artist. It's like collecting the Michael Jordan rookie card, right? So your artist can certainly win a Grammy maybe 3 years from now, and you get to participate on that whole journey. So
yeah, that's amazing. And obviously it's a bit of clout, isn't it? A bit of like saying, look, I was the first one to know about this art, and you've got the proof for it to say,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm also interested in hearing about is obviously what's going on now. Obviously you go on the site, you've got artists like Whitney Houston, you've got John Legend, you've got TLC. What kind of NFTs you got in plan to drop? Like, and what kind of things the fans got to look out for? Like, how do they purchase it and whatnot?
Yeah, so we announced about a dozen artists, about 12 artists in our first announcement. There's many bigger, big and emerging artists we're about to announce in the coming weeks. So right now, as a fan, you can basically go to oneof.com and sign up for our waiting list. So you'll be the first to be notified on when these drops start to happen. We are also kind of behind the scenes working very closely with each of the artists to kind of tweak and fine tune what is the actual drop. So every artist, as you can imagine, really, this is a new creative vertical. So every music artist want to one up each other, right? So it's not just like dropping like, an unreleased track. It could be like, hey, what is a gamified experience for my fans? Each artist is a little bit different, right? And thinking very differently. And, some artists are thinking about kind of where art and music come together. Some artists are thinking about kind of experiences. Wouldn't it be cool to win like, tickets on every stop of the tour? So there's a lot going on here. So we're kind of, really kind of also looking at the mathematically what makes sense as the different addition, right? So how do we price it and how many NFT to mint while still create and maintain that scarcity and limited edition feeling while still make it accessible to a lot of fans at a low price point. So.
Okay, and what kind of value does Quincy Jones bring? Because I know he's worked with, like I said, pretty much anybody anyone famous, and whether they're here or not, like Michael Jackson. So have we got things to look forward coming to OneOf? Like, even, I mean, I don't know if Michael Jackson or Frank Sinatra, but have we got anything down the lines of that?
Well, I mean, I can't comment on details, but I'll tell you, Quincy is the kind of the history of American music, right? So everything from jazz to the beginning days of hip hop to now. So I think and Quincy is the one of the most Grammy winning producers ever. So I can tell you, at Quincy's house, there's literally a vault, and inside the vault there is another vault inside the vault. And that's where all the super exclusive, limited edition, like, never before heard, music and content is. Where, my partner Adam is really looking into finding, curating, right? And we're digging through the vault, and I think there's so much content there. I think Quincy's drop will be not only, we're thinking a very long-term view of this. It's not just one drop, it's a it's a series of drops, right? That tells a story of American music or something from the eyes of the one of the most legendary participants and producers, creators in for the last kind of 70, 80 years.
Okay. So another question I want to ask Lin is, and the reason I'm asking this question is because I'm really at the ground level. I really get down to the ground level, going through the comments and speaking to people in the comments when things drop. You've got artists like Whitney Houston, who isn't here with us today. I know that when there was a drop with Kobe Bryant, people was like saying, how are you making money off somebody that's dead? Is it going back to their estate and so on? There's a lot of pushback on that. How does it work with artists that are not here with us today?
Yeah, absolutely. So, music rights are usually controlled by the estate, and sometimes the state and the label, or the state and the publishing company, right? So we work with all the necessary parties. So, certainly, for an artist that's not with us, a very large part of this is working with the estate to make sure it's not a transaction, right? It's really, for the most part, about preserving their legacy and how do we take it to the next level, how do we do it in a respectful way. But some of these artists have their content during their lifetime that was really meaningful and important that people should remember. And then there are also content that's the world has not even experienced it, right? So
Yeah.
so there's a lot to kind of work through what is the right curation, but that's done directly with the estate, right? So
okay, thank you for answering that. Another question I wanted to kind of look into, and it's a bit more of a technical question, is the tokens that you're using to produce these NFTs, the ECR 721s, or are they 1155s for the mass? I mean, or is both?
Yeah, it's neither. So
Okay,
we
all
built our NFT tokens are going to sit on the Tezos blockchain. So Tezos has a token standard that is called FA2. So FA2 is similar but more advanced than 1155, right? So it could be a fungible or it could be a non-fungible token standard built into one. So in many ways, 1155 kind of follows a lot of the great points in FA2. So it's a different but similar token standard, but it's on a complete different blockchain. So Ethereum for the time being is still proof of work, very energy intensive, very high cost. So Tezos has been a proof of stake, network that's successfully running for its mainnet for over 3 years, have gone through 6 upgrades successfully, and both lower the transaction costs, but also incorporated some of the best ideas from other NFT specific blockchains, such as Flow, which is what kind of Dapper Labs NBA Top Shot runs on. So
okay, and would you say that I know you mentioned Flow a few times now, and would you say that you've kind of taken a bit of ideas from everybody's production, like Crypto Kitties and the Top Shots and the one, and try to introduce these to OneOf and try to implement the positives and take away the negatives? Is that the way you've approached this project?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dapper guys and Rohan are amazing entrepreneurs and technologists, and certainly there's a lot we learned, and a lot we are constantly learning from their project, right? So so what they have done for basketball is just incredible, and it gave us the confidence that, like, hey, the true fans really don't care as much which blockchain the NFT runs on, right? So that's the biggest question. Like, if we build this platform on a different blockchain, would that be a big problem for fans and collectors? NBA Top Shot has proven that it's the single biggest like NFT project so far, and it doesn't have to be on Ethereum, right? So that gave us the confidence to really pick our partner carefully, which is Tezos, and non-Ethereum partner, and Dapper has done a great job, and probably the best out there about gamifying the experience, right? And building a community as well, right? So it's people that really, like, on drop day get together, stand in line for hours for that drop. So a lot of that is kind of great product building and a long-term commitment to the community. So that's something we really are trying to make sure that's part of our ethos as well, right? Like the commitment to community, really listen to the community, and I think we can do that even in a better way, just because each artist will kind of lean in and bring their community to the platform, and our entire platform is built on the ability for not only to allow kind of crypto enthusiasts to transact, but also allow non-crypto native people to start participating in this ecosystem without having to learn so much about, like, how to create your wallet and private key and what happens if you lose it. So we're building a kind of a UI UX that's kind of meant for the average music fan, not the you don't have to be super savvy crypto user to enjoy our platform.
And I think that's going to be key. I think that's something that's like I said, Dapper Labs Incorporated is making it easier to purchase these NFTs. And I think that's when you're going to get the mass obviously the mass coming in to purchase NFTs, because in order for this space to grow, we need more people in it, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think our big goal is really like it's NFTs as music collectibles is just the tip of the iceberg, right? So what we really want to do is help the next 100 million non-crypto native users to come onto blockchain and have that welcome and easy and enjoyable experience. And that's, I would say the, early adopters doesn't necessarily always have that like nice, smooth experience, right?
Yeah.
So because the application you are introduced to blockchain usually is trading, right? So and that's a very volatile and perhaps not for everyone as the first introduction to blockchain. So so we're we're kind of looking at, we're big believers of what blockchain technology can do for empowerment for the average user, right? So it's just kind of like, hey, we're kind of, NFT is kind of the gateway to the rest of the blockchain world, and we want to make that experience great for users.
Thank you. And just to round it off, Lin, it's just one question I want to ask yourself, because you're very experienced in this space, is what do you think is the next big industry, apart from music, because music is definitely is, and it is already happening, is what do you think is the next big thing within the NFT space, industry-wise? Is it fashion? Is it gaming? Is it?
Yeah, I think both sports and music are just in the beginning stages, right? So we're just scratching the surface here. There is a lot. NBA Top Shot is great, but that's like one of maybe 6 or 7 major sports verticals in the world. And NFTs is a lot more than just trading cards, right? Can do a lot more. So I think music also, we have a lot of plans, but there's a lot of application around how NFTs or blockchain technology in general can advance music and the experience between artists and fans. I think beyond that, I think what's really exciting is I'm really kind of starting to be really into the idea of there's a physical world and there's a lot of talk about the metaverse, but I'm actually really interested in kind of how a hybrid, right? So what is the AR version of that? How is NFT going to allow you to engage with digital assets, but kind of that brings some cool functionality to your physical world? I think there's a lot there, right? So it's like, I don't think we're definitely at a place right now. It's your world is not just 100% physical, but also, I think we're still quite a bit away from kind of the matrix days where you're 100% living in kind of a virtual reality, right? So how do we bring these cool content from your favorite artists, celebrities, fashion into this kind of hybrid physical digital kind of augmented reality kind of way that's really engaging. So
do you think, sorry, just the back of that, I just have to ask you one more question. Do you think, based on what you've said, do you think things like gamifying the way we buy music could play a part? So let's say that you talked about AR. Let's say that you only could listen to a certain track if you find it, and there's a map to find that song, or you attach it to a piece of clothing that out of 500 pieces of clothing to be one with that QR code in there that would link back to the piece of music and that kind of side of it. Do you think there's space for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's where everything is going, right? If you think about the size of the gaming industry and the size of the music industry, it's not because music has less fans. It's because, I think music up to now is kind of lazy, right? It's a recorded song. You can kind of, listen to it, and that's kind of all you can do with it. You can't really interact with it, right? So we're stuck at like a 1980s formula at best. Like, there's some really great video that's being created. Gamifying experience is the future, right? So like everything is gamified. Like buying stocks is gamified, right? So that's why Robinhood is so engaging and growing so fast. So I think every and NBA Top Shot certainly did a great job for the fans to really have that gamified experience, right? So I think it's music has a lot to learn, and movie industry has a lot to learn from the gaming industry, right? So
thank you. Well, Lin, I know you're short for time. I appreciate the time that you spent to come on here and talk to me about obviously OneOf and a bit about the NFT space. I look forward to the drop of obviously OneOf. When is that? You got the date? Is that date when you can actually drop your first NFT?
we haven't announced it yet,
Okay.
but we'll announce that very soon. So
okay, well, I'll definitely keep an eye out for that, and I'll keep everyone posted. But like again, once again, thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing what OneOf has got to offer for everybody. And thank you everyone for listening, and stay tuned, and make sure you go check out. Have you got? Does anyone follow your actual social, or is it just solely just the OneOf?
Yeah, you can go to oneof.com and sign up for the wait list, so you'll be the first to know when we start dropping these amazing artist NFTs, and then you can follow me on social at it's the points Dai, so THE points DAI.
Okay, thank you. Well, thanks again, Lin. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
Great, thank you for having me.
Now, guys, that's the 4th episode of the NFT Talks podcast, the 4th one. Yes, I'm amazing at maths, and we've still got a lot more to come. Thank you for all the support so far across all platforms. So that's the Instagram, the Twitter, the YouTube, and also obviously I've just recently gone into TikTok. So if you're a TikTok fan, make sure you follow us on the TikTok account, which is just NFT Talks. Most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Show us some love. Anybody that you know is in the NFT space who wants to learn about NFTs, share this podcast.